My Brother's Keepers is a vital podcast fostering brotherhood and open dialogue for Black men and boys. It tackles crucial topics like mental health, fatherhood, and criminal justice disparities, offering actionable insights. Discover how this impactful podcast inspires resilience and community upliftment, continuing a powerful legacy.
Glad we took care of that and that meeting and stuff. That went pretty good.
Yeah, we in there.
All right, we in there. Yep. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another My Brother's Keepers. I'm here with my brother, Dante. All right, it's good to see you, brother.
Same here, bro.
We have a great topic for the night and look forward to being able to share it with each and every one of you. Feel free to add your comments. Don't worry, we're not going to blast you or anything like that if you disagree. Again, we're not those type of guys, you know. We desire peace and we like to have a good conversation. So please feel free to join in. Like I say, hot topic for the night.
Oh, yeah.
I think these next two is going to be pretty hot.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Indeed. We our last one Tuesday is gonna be our season finale. Right now I'm currently working on season 2. I'm about halfway done. I'm gonna start working on more of it tonight. Have everything finalized. I'm gonna send it to my brother to review it over the past couple of days. So we'll have a solid outline of season 2. Episode 10 is our final, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody what it's gonna be now, so y'all can get prepared for it. We're gonna be talking about polygamy. Polygamy is definitely gonna be a thing that have been in everybody's thought process and discussion. These, I want to say, past 2 or 3 years, it's been definitely a trending topic, and a topic that definitely need to be discussed in the way that I feel like it needs to be discussed. And we're definitely going to really dive into that Tuesday and break a lot of things down to y'all in every structure. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give y'all definitions. We're going to give you our proper definition. And we're going to dig into it. And I would love to get comments given. We'll go through the comments as well. So tonight, though, is also going to be a good one. It is called If I Can't Control You, I Can't Lead. Reason why I made this a topic is because I hear so many of our sisters everywhere, not just our sisters, you know, Black women, but I think everybody's my sister. So I think when it comes to like, I say like my mom, even though I'm saying my sister, I'm talking about my mom, I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about a lot of people where they get construed with leadership. They use the word control as a negative terminology, but it's really not. Control is actually a thing that a lot of us actually have to have, and you gotta have a sense of understanding how to delegate things, because in order to control, delegation is also involved. You control your kids, you delegate your kids, if you're a good delegator. So if you know how to really delegate things, you are a controller and you do have a leadership position when it comes to tell things. So I felt like this would be a great topic to lead into and to really push the thought process of why control and leadership literally goes hand in hand. So my brother, for you, the first topic we're going to discuss is precaution is a privilege. I'll repeat myself again to everybody. Precaution is a privilege. Question is, what does society demonize in a man? Well, I'll say it like this. When it comes to society demonizing a man with structure, why does we still have a sense of celebrating a man coming out of prison, or rapping about killing people, or we watch movies where they're a drug dealer? Like, why do we celebrate the males involved in chaos, but we deem and give a hard time to the man that represents structure?
Mm-hmm. I think it goes back again to the mid 70s, on up through the 80s. It's been a standard pretty much set up for the male to be presented a certain way, and when the male was placed away out of the home, do the welfare system, things like that, in order for the black female or the black family, as far as the female side of it with the kids, and only the wife, to make it. The black male has always been looked upon as the black sheep. It's always been in the back of the minds of people, because everybody knows where there's family, there's pretty much structure. It doesn't matter if there's negative structure, there's no structure. There is a system to which the man, even if he's doing wrong, there's a structure there that's still negative. If he doesn't know how to lead correctly, it's still a sense of structure, you know. But once you take the man out of it, just totally rebuild the man in the fashion that you desire to build him in a way that I remember teaching a couple weeks back about the potter, how the potter reshapes individuals.
Right.
And if you're not letting the Most High in your life, first of all, you become a product of the world. And we all know that all the ingredients that the world is going to give the man is going to be negative if he's not set in the way of discipline, if he's not set to structure. When it comes to the law, when it comes to order, when it comes to structure, if the black man doesn't have it, it pretty much breaks down the family, you know, the structure of a family, how it should be built. Now, when a man that comes in with order, all of a sudden, that's going to lead right or lead correctly, he's often looked upon as controlling. But that word controlling actually is not a bad word. You know, it's not a bad word, but people have demonized it in a way to where it is now fashion, to where when you see a black man that's properly leading the way in a controlled manner. And I always say this, and I believe this for a fact. If you have a woman and she not listening to you, best believe she listening to somebody else.
That's true.
You know,
That's
whether it's some other dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On social media or whatever it may be, she's listening to someone else because she obviously not listening to you.
Correct.
You know,
Somebody's influencing.
right? Somebody's influencing her, and a lot of times we have to look at it as for what it is. As long as you have a man that has a system that he knows how to lead properly, and you can also see the fruits of what he's trying to do. We should be actually applauding that.
Correct.
But again, you mentioned something earlier that when a black man specifically comes out of the prison, or that's one of the times where he's mostly applauded, or you hear the applaud, or when it comes to achievements in the athletics, things of that way. Because see, the world and in the United States, specifically our society, is built upon entertainment.
Right.
And
right.
so
barbaric.
Right, barbaric type ways. And we look at things like winning the championship is more important than a man having control of his home and having solid structure.
Yep.
You know, so we have to be mindful how society looks at those words like structure, order, control, and then how we handle it and dish it in the way we're supposed to give it. Because truth be told, if a lot of people really understood the Bible, they would probably hate it, because men controlled their homes, you know?
Right.
Men had structure in their homes. And a lot of women would probably reject the Bible because it seemed that it just always put them on the backside of the society.
Correct.
But there's a reason for that.
Correct.
You know, it's not saying that they're less, anything like that, but it's a structure and an order to how things need to be done.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. One of the things I would like to say is that it's disappointing to me when we minimize the work, the effort that it takes to actually develop someone. When a man has to develop his kids, and when a man has to groom and develop his wife, because we have forgotten that, you know, you say you have a bride and a groom. The groom grooms his wife to him. She molds to him, and that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of listening. It takes a lot of paying attention to details, being very proactive, getting counsel of older men that's in his position. It takes a lot of things to make decisions and give orders and things like that. So it really has disappointed me in society now to where we are champion not listening to men. We starting to champion that. We only champion the males that tell you what you want to hear versus telling you what you need to hear, and that has really put us in a very I want to say a downward spiral when it comes to the strengthening of a union and the strengthening of a family. Just like I mentioned to y'all on our last show, like if you're arguing back and forth and you have a problem with how your man tell you no about something and you don't like it because everybody else is doing it, you have a problem, fellas. A man's law of making a decision in his house should be respected and not never challenged in those kind of ways. Especially if a man takes the time to really truly understands what it takes to protect his family and keep his family out of harm's way. A woman should never challenge a man when it comes to his protection and how he keeps everybody safe. We have made it to where when a man does that, he's paranoid or he's crazy or like he don't trust his woman. None of these things has nothing to do with leadership. You don't want to leave like a man has to lead to where there's casualties. Like if I led like a true general to where he sends his men to war and he understands that war there will be death and casualties, you don't want me to put my wife and my kids in the position of casualties to where somebody dies or get killed or lose something of their life to not make them whole. You know what I'm saying? To put them in trauma. My goal is to minimize the trauma, minimize the chaos, and minimize the confusion in my home. But in order to do that, you gotta have control of these things. You cannot move without control. Just like the scenario last week. If your wife is in another country and you in another country, you have no control of the scenarios and situations that's going to happen to your wife. You have zero control. It's sad, but it's true. We can go back and forth about that all day you want. But at the end of the day, the question is, what can you or would you do? And at the end of the day, your answer is always going to be, I can do nothing. Because you can't. So the question is, we got to get back into understanding that it is a privilege to have a man in your household that runs with structure and protection. Because you got to think about it. Majority of the household where people are getting molested and getting kidnapped and getting abused is mostly single parent households. It's very few times to where you have a man in the house that is not an alcoholic, that is completely well put together, that got a system in the house. He's not putting his daughters, his sons in a situation where they can get kidnapped or molested. Majority of women I know, those situations happen, they did not have a dad in their house. Even the males, like there's no daddy in the house to protect them from these situations.
Notice he said most of the situations, because I know someone would say, well, a lot of times you have those who are the fathers that still, do things like that. But then you also said individuals who are well-rounded with structure, know how to, handle and things like that. In other words, you don't have those type thoughts going on in your mind.
Correct.
Because you have those who have those issues and they still do that as well.
There's definitely they call child predators. There's a bunch of child predators in households. Fathers, the mothers, sometimes it be both of them. Both of them be child predators. That's why a community, having a community around you is so important as well. A village like. to where, like I said, you have the proper counsel around that are wise as well. But there has to be structure in the household, because if you have that, these things would not fall on deaf ears. Somebody is going to be in place and position to protect the young.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we're really talking about. Is how we going to protect our youth and make sure that they grow up with less trauma than what we had. And I know I had trauma, and I'm pretty sure my brother has some trauma. We all have trauma. The goal is not to put our kids in those worst situations that what we've been through. The next one is the unwanted and not willing. The question is, why do we try to force safety for those who does not desire it?
I think a lot of times we may see what they don't see, and some people will confuse safety as being overbearing and controlling, and when you say don't desire it, they don't have the understanding of what that is. They don't
Correct.
have the proper. They've never seen it. They never seen it growing up as a child. They never seen it as a man coming in their life that's trying to lead correctly. And this is an important part as well. You can have people always say, they ain't no good man in the world. Whatever they say, they ain't no more good man.
Correct.
When a good man comes, good man start to lay, down, rules of how things need to be done. That's a threat. That's odd to some. That's alien talk to some women, to some women and some kids even, because they never seen someone where structure come, and it may look like they don't desire it, but they just never seen it. They're not familiar with it. And this way it goes back to where we have to be as men, and I say this to all your men: be mindful of who you tie to, because if you engage yourself with people who don't desire that, who don't want protection, who don't want safety, who don't want order, who don't want someone to lead properly, you can have a tough road to travel.
Oh yeah.
With this person, and you may want to end it there and cut free.
Yes.
Because like you said earlier, there could be hardships that come that you don't even have to come through. Go through because the flags are already there.
Correct.
So understand who you're tied to. All this, and when we talk about being equally yoked, that stuff is just not spiritual. It's just not spiritual. This stuff goes in line to how people are raised.
Correct.
Because you can be a good man, a good woman, and find yourself dealing with people who don't know the basics of how structure should be in a household, how structure should be in a family.
Correct.
And this is your time to bail. You know what I mean? Because don't let your heart lead you in that way. I'll just stop there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, hey, you tell us the truth. I mean, it's being in a leadership position, and when I'm saying that, also I want to talk to my sisters in the sense of when it comes to women's leadership with the kids. We got to get back on track to your leadership with the kids is you're not their friends. Just like a husband is not friends with his wife. That is my helpmate. In order for me to lead my helpmate, she's got to understand my position of authority, as well as my wife the kids have to understand my wife's position of authority and how that works. Everybody has to understand the position. And the thing is, we're falling apart with this thing in the household, to where we're kind of slowly flipping roles now, to where it's like the kids are more think that the mother is more above the father on things, and it's like, you gotta mama make the last decision, not daddy. Daddy just gotta do what mama say. Like, that's what we're getting to. I hear all that at my job, and I have to even check the old heads at my job, because I'm like, all right, that's your household. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all talking about. Like that whole happy wife or happy life stuff. I don't know what y'all talking about. Because I'm pretty sure in my house, there's plenty of times my wife wasn't happy. But guess what? The household was safe. I like safe. I don't know about happy, but as long as my house is safe and the bills are paid and we ain't about to get kicked out, we good. I don't know about the whole who gotta be happy. If you want to be happy while I make these decisions, that's all cool. But my goal is not, I'm not a crowd pleaser. My thing is I am a protector, not a pleaser. My job is to be a protector.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to get back to this, man. And I want to push that to my fellas. I mean, we got to throw away that whole narrative, happy wife, happy life. That I don't ever want to hear that again. And I hear it from a lot of the old guys at my jobs and stuff like that. But we got to throw that narrative out the window. And because I push about that hard at work when I talk to them guys. Because the young guys be listening to me. Like, they stop ignoring them and they start listening to what I be saying. Because they're like, you know what? I like what he's saying. They don't like, because they're in relationships. And these guys are like, hold on. What he's saying ain't making sense.
Right.
Because I'm still frustrated and we're doing everything the woman say, and we're still miserable.
Right.
So they're not listening to these guys no more. They start listening to what I'm talking about. Cause they're like, hold on. Like, he's telling me to be happy. He's telling me don't keep jumping off the cliffs to make her happy. But I gotta realize that sometimes I need to make decisions that's going to involve her not being happy to keep myself sane. That's what I'm saying. You do not put yourself in a position to where you lose your leadership position. And sometimes we get so weak to the knees to where we don't stand on our feet and stand on what we feel like needs to be put in place, and we need to stand on what we believe and we know is right. We get scared and we get in doubt because sometimes we didn't grow up with a father. Sometimes what happens is if you're not raised with your father, we have the tendencies of not really knowing what's the right decision. Sometimes we get kind of in doubt because everybody looking at you sideways. Sometimes as a man, you're going to be at the top in the cold by yourself because a lot of people are not going to like those decisions you make. Are they going to respect it? Yes. Are they going to tell you? No. But deep down inside, they're not going to, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to challenge you until they smell weakness. If they smell weakness in what you do and how you move, and you move flip-flop, and you flip-flop a lot with them, they're going to attack you like wolves.
Yeah.
But so that's why I say, if you make a decision and you know that's the right decision, the very thing you better not do is change.
That's right.
Stand on it.
Yeah. And the woman let me inject this. It's by nature that a woman tests you to see where you stand.
Yeah.
She's gonna do it at some point. You know, at some point, whether it's beginning, middle, end, whatever, she's gonna do it in some kind of way through some kind of format. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with that. But she needs to see your consistency, your order,
right,
your structure, and how you work and how you stand. Because once you get to a point to where you let her take your backbone out,
right,
a little bit, you know, especially she's not in order herself, you know what I mean?
Correct.
She's gonna test it all the time, and that comes with the simple things like through arguments, just disagreements, saying things that shouldn't be said. It honestly comes to a point because she don't respect you. She don't respect your leadership style. She don't respect you as a person. She don't respect your order. Don't even really expect your existence if it's something that's continuing, and you just merely stay in a relationship because of some reason you may call love or whatever, which is odd when you start to compare that to what love is. Love shouldn't be that. Love is order, but it's by her nature to at some point see, and it may not. Sometimes it may not even be a outward word spoken.
Correct.
She'll just sit back and see if you're going to be consistent. You know what I mean? On your ideas, you're moving forward. And if she sees a little crack in that thing to where you're not, standing on that, that's when the exploiting a lot of times will come if she doesn't have order within herself. And we all know that when it comes to our people, order is a problem. Discipline is a problem.
Correct.
And so we need to be mindful of that as men. Don't let her rip your spine out.
Right. I mean, I'm going to say this, and this kind of falls into the next conversation. I don't think all men are built, or they're not. When I mean built, I mean like now, like how the society has molded us now. A lot of us aren't built to run a household. A lot of us just aren't built to run a household. And sadly, a lot of us sneak through the cracks and build a whole bunch of unstructured families, because a lot of women are creating family and kids with males that aren't qualified and have not been deemed to be of the flock of other men that would say, hey, that man is qualified to lead a flock. A lot of men just aren't. And the thing is, I hear these conversations, I hear these discussions where, our sisters say, he's not a real man unless he do this, he do that, and like you gotta stop that too. Men can only qualify as what a man is, and we the only ones that can give qualifications and authority that male is a man now. I wish we still did the rites of passage that helps you qualify from boyhood to manhood, to where a man challenges a male to, we could say, hey, that's a man now. Because everybody ain't. We got a whole bunch of 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds males that never qualified or never made it through the rites of passage that he meet the prereqs to where it takes to become a man. We just out here with beards and saying stuff what women like to hear.
Right.
And what happens is it throws off the structure and the principles of what men are and who we represent and how we move. And it throws everything off. But we're gonna, like I said, we definitely we're gonna check that and we're gonna talk about it. And like I said, we'll have more uncomfortable conversations about all this stuff.
Yeah. What do you think? What percentage, when you just off the top of your head, when it comes to social media? Sometimes I look and I see social media, how guys will get on, they'll say things, whatever that sound good to women, but then when you really look at it, think about like how you just put it. What percentage of the social media conversations regarding men? What percentage of those men do you think are orderly men that understand the structure of family and how to actually build a family? What percentage do you think that may be? Top of your head.
Top of my head, I'm gonna be honest, I'd probably say like 40%. And that's kind of being nice.
Yeah, I think that's nice. I think that's being nice.
It like if I were to really dig deep, it'll probably be like 25%.
No, I'm saying you saying 25% that know how to build.
Yeah, they know how to build.
Okay, all right. Okay,
yeah,
so that shifts it down about 80, 75%.
Yeah, about 80% of men out here
don't know how to build.
And I'm just being honest. Like I said, man, we're fair here, people.
Right.
Trust me. Y'all think I'll fit just talk back. Y'all think I'll give women a hard time? No, I give everybody a hard time.
Yeah.
Let's just get that bit on. Now, if you know me, you know me. I'll give everybody business. So understand, a lot of men don't make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But those women, those sisters, they be biting everything that these guys be saying. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. A woman truly don't really understand a man the way a man understand a man. That's why it's important that your father pick your husband. A woman truly should not like pick her husband. I mean, that sounds bad, but it's true. Because only a man really knows what it takes to be a father and be a husband. A woman don't know what it takes to be a father and a husband. Like I'm gonna get ugly with y'all. Like think about it. The majority of our black society, when it comes to women having kids, the first kid that a woman have, especially in these times, they're not having kids based off of a man being looks like a good father. Mostly women are automatically attracted to have kids and procreate with a man based off of his looks, his physique, his height, his size, his skin color. You know what I'm saying? The money he has, his status is not necessarily of, hey, he looks like he's somebody that knows how to be a husband, knows how to raise kids, knows about, you know what I'm saying? He shows those skills and traits of being a family man.
Right.
Women initial attraction is what it is. The attraction, the look, the physique, the talk, and all that has nothing to do about being a provider and being a man and being a man of his word and things like that. Women are not scaling men on those qualities until after the fact.
Yeah, it's after the fact.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why to prevent that, you shouldn't have to go through those traumas to learn. That's what you're supposed to have a father for. Father guards you, protects you, leads you, control you. You know what I'm saying? All these things is because you don't put yourself in these positions to where now you're having kids out of wedlock, or you have kids while married, and then you leave that man. You're like you stop this kind of stuff because once again, you don't pick a man based off of the proper qualities that it takes for him to take care of you and your family. I don't see that happening.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying it don't. I don't see it at a rate to where I feel comfortable to where we have to have these conversations.
Right.
We have to have these conversations because the right stuff is not happening.
That's right.
You know, if the right stuff was happening, this show wouldn't be happening.
Right.
I'd be at the house chilling, enjoying my film.
When you look at the word control,
right.
Again, society has already placed this stigma on the word control.
Right.
When it comes to a husband and a wife.
Right.
Control is not a bad word. Society has made it look as if it's a bad word.
Right.
How you have dealt with people who are basically no good, that you're in a relationship with and shouldn't be in it anyway. You look at it in a way, a lot of women look at it in a way, he's trying to control me. Well, look what you got. You wouldn't even be in a situation where you're being battered, argumentative, those type of things. And then it seemed like it's the word control. The word is control. When in actuality, that is a false image of what we're talking about concerning the word control.
Right.
But control is making sure everything is safe. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Protecting the boundaries.
Correct.
And what woman in her right mind wouldn't want that when you're led by the right type of man or covered by the right type of man? Because if he's covering you correctly, he's going to control everything within his boundaries to make sure that order stays within that place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now if you're dealing with a person who don't understand what order is, don't understand what submissive is,
correct,
you know, those type of things, they're going to view it as a negative thing.
Correct.
But when it comes to this Bible, when it comes to that Bible we talk about, those men, those women submitted. And they knew that they had to do things according to how the Most High told them how things need to be done. The Bible says the woman has a sign of authority over her head.
Right.
You know, she can't exert over that authority. You know, but what do we have? Women exerting over that authority. And at the same time, you have men who don't understand what it is to lead properly, to control properly, without being abusive in the control. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when you're the type that's neglecting as well, that is a form of abuse as well.
Sure.
Because you're not providing the things within that control section for that woman to be comfortable.
Correct.
You know, as well. So I think a lot of times we have taken the words of how the views of how society has looked at what it is to control, what it is to lead. I'm just to the point now. My understanding is if a man don't have control of his woman, somebody else has control.
Correct.
Of her.
Correct.
You know, that's social media. That's another man. That's another woman.
Correct.
That's somebody. And when it's supposed to be those individuals doing their thing within their own household together. It shouldn't be nothing else impacted that.
Correct. A lot of that is due to trauma, fear, lack of a lot of people are vulnerable and don't want to be vulnerable. So it's like a lot of these things are root to problems that never got fixed. That leads to a person not willing to follow somebody because of the fear of the past trauma, of the neglect growing up as a kid, and being probably disappointed and been around so many unreliable people, to where it builds up that shell of, I don't want to listen. Or sometimes some people are just born that way. Some people are just born combative and very resistant and very that way, to where they never had the proper authorities around them growing up to kind of break that out of them. And they kind of have a wild mindset, and they're very rebellious. And those people tend to be in and out of jail a lot.
Right.
So it's like, it's sad, man. But I want to lead to the next topic,
right.
And with this topic is gonna get to where I want to get to. All right, you can't lead what you don't understand. So my question is, like, why is it critical for a male to master following before leading his family?
Oh man, I believe in that 110%. I had a guy, he older gentleman, he passed away, and he told me, and this was regarding from the ministry standpoint, and then also he related to just in general growing up. How was I brought up? And he made a statement: you must be a servant before you become a leader. This is something that that I can say both on the ministry side and both growing up as a young man, being around my granddad. Man, he used to work with me out in that garden. 7 o'clock in the morning out there tilling the ground, doing things. He used to always say things. You may think that this is something you don't want to do right now, but it'll come back and later on in life. You know what I mean? And it'll prepare you for something. You know what I mean? And so after the period, I was always here. I was always here year after year after year. And I think it was around my junior year I started to understand a little bit more what he was saying. Because he started talking about one day he wasn't going to be around, things like that, and times are going to get harder. And but later on, he passed away. Then another older gentleman came to me, and he was talking about things from the ministry side. That first, you have to be a servant to others before you become a leader. You have to have a servant's heart. And I understood it because I remember things my granddad used to say. But coming in a way of following, it prepared me to understand people. It made me come to the point of understanding myself. Even through the things that you see me go through right here with ministry and things like that, I was able to fight through those things with the fact that going through that pressure cooker, all them years, this was really not that bad for me. I just knew what needed to be done, you know what I mean? Because of the preparation, so getting to the point of understanding, how to follow. I felt like I picked up a lot of things, to build properly in a way of a family. I don't let things on the outside bother me. Things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore, because the main point is you have a family to protect. There's no excuses.
Right.
The excuses are tools of incompetence, and those who use excuses seldom accomplish anything.
Right.
So I look at that as in every aspect of life. When I always talk about things like building properly, you got to pick up the things in life first in order to lead and build properly, the people that you're going to be amongst and protect them. And I think when you're doing that out of a good heart, it not only allows you to build with them properly, you still as a leader have a way of caring. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have a way of caring and loving the people you build, and even give your life, you know what I mean, when it comes to it.
Right.
And so I think those are very excellent components to where I experienced personally that path. Right. And learning how to build.
I'm with you. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, my brother. The reason why it's so valuable to have the know-how to follow somebody, because it builds humility. Mm-hmm. It builds camaraderie, morality. It builds those things when you follow somebody, because it feels good to where it's like, once you achieve those goals with that person, it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like words can't really express what goes on inside when you have built something from the dirt up with somebody, and you see the accomplishments of that. And then you see the accomplishments of yourself when you see it in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? The growth of who you are as a person. It's an amazing thing. I remember when I first started like getting big in fitness and working out and taking care of myself and running and things like that. Man, like the transformation to, going home, passing out on the bed, and you know what I'm saying, throwing up, and you know what I'm saying, cramps in the leg, cramps in your feet. You got a bag of ice everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then the more you get to the mirror, you start seeing your pecs, your arms, you get it right. The development, the grind of it, it's a great thing when you go and you listen to somebody and you build. Mm-hmm. And then you want to be able to transfer that knowledge and those results to someone else. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like passing the throne. Right. Mm-hmm. To the gems and the things that you've had. But like I said, what makes it so great is that you can tell those stories of how you got to that position. You just didn't inherit a leadership position. That's why they always say a lot of people don't really respect the colonel the way they respect the chief master sergeant. Mm-hmm. Like Chief Master Sergeant is the one that got out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like the colonels did, they went to college. That's how they got the title. But the Chief Master Sergeant is the one who got out the mud. That's the person everybody respects and look towards, because they know he walked the walk, talked the talk. He did it all. You know what I'm saying? So that's why here, those people are powerful because they understand what their people are doing. They did it. They know how to give the orders properly. Right. They understand when a person is at their limit and they can't do no more. And they understand when to push. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They understand. Like, I know, you know what I'm saying, when one of my kids, they're at this break limit. I know when they're at the limit. I know when they need to give up. And I know when to push this one more. Because, you know what I'm saying, I've been there before. I know what it takes. I know when I need to tell them, you know what I'm saying, take a break. You can't be in a leadership position when you have not gone through those obstacles in life. That's why I made sure I made it my business to get involved in so much stuff to where I know what it takes for my kids to get to where they need to be. That's why I went to college. That's why I went into the military. That's why I went to corporate America. That's why I did streaming. I did all these avenues so I can give my kids the experience of all these avenues, because I lived all these avenues. I can tell it how I can tell them from, saying my point of view, how it was. Not only do I can explain to them how it is to live in a good neighborhood, but I can tell them if you make a bunch of bad decisions, how it's going to look if you go into bad neighborhoods. I know how it looks. I was there. I lived it. I overcome it. So it's very important for just not people outside your household to respect you from the things that you achieve. But it's very important for the people inside your household to understand that you was able to achieve the things that they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Some, I ain't gonna say all, but some of them, they'll respect that and follow your lead. Some kids, now they just, you can tell them everything in the world, they still ain't gonna listen. You know what I'm saying? You can do everything you can, they still, it's still like, you know, this is my life, you know, it's different, you know, they got that mindset now. But it's still good to still have that in their back pocket, because true enough, if they don't listen now, when things get tight, they are going to revert back to you, because they know you've been there, done that, and achieved it.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, the bottom line to this, people, when it comes to this in the overall, we got to learn that control is okay. Manipulation is bad, but control is good. A person is not, there's people in the world that I get control can be a negative sense of direction. But if you have agreed to marry this person, or if you agreed to lay in bed with this person, I don't see why you have a hard time letting this man control the things that you do, because at that point, you've given him all control to the highest level already.
That's right.
So endure that and apply that.
Yeah, that's right. Again, I'm gonna add this little piece to it, because you're gonna have those who always say, you know, I don't know, there's something about our people when they hear the words control. You know, it's in them to think negative.
Yeah.
You let that white man control on that job.
Telling you.
You know, how he want whatever, and you're gonna do it without questioning.
Exactly.
But you come home to your husband, and when he desires things to be in a way of how his home should be, then it's all hell, you know, breaking loose.
Right.
As long as it's not manipulation, as long as it's not putting you in a situation to where it's hurting you or putting you to a point to where, you know, I just look at it like joy's been robbed from you or something like that.
Yeah.
But then a woman as well, she has to understand at the point before she's even marrying a person, you know, or laying in a bed with a man, you know, that, you know, this is the highest point that I could possibly, I'm laying with this man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if I'm laying with this man, I'm saying that I trust him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm saying that I trust him.
Yeah.
And these are things that need to be thought of before you even do those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's what? It's your body.
Yeah.
It's your spirit. It's your soul at stake. You know, and yet you will do these things by laying with a person that you're trying to say, I'll only let him have limit, you know what I mean, say or whatever, but you're laying with him, and that's the ultimate. You know what I mean?
That's it.
That's the ultimate. So we have to really think about things, you know, as far as how we do things, and stop letting society to pick how things should be run in your household. Because again, 80 to 70, 75% of these men that are sitting here saying a lot of these things, these women are falling all over for, they have no understanding of what it is about order, discipline. They just know the words to say to manipulate.
Yeah.
You know? And then you run and tell your friend, hey, he said this, he said that. It's like a bad seed being spreaded, you know, across the board. And you're thinking this is how it's supposed to be. And when in actuality, this is how the Most High is saying that it needs to be.
Correct.
You know? So we need to look at things from that perspective and just be, you know, more so honest about things and about how we view things. Same thing that we always talk about with religion and things like that. You have been taught things that somebody else has told somebody else, and they told it to you.
Yeah.
And it is wrong. You know, it is wrong. And yet you believe it and you think it's right. And the whole thing is, belief doesn't mean fact.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean fact at all. So,
yeah, I mean, it's
just things you think about.
Yeah, man. I mean, even if we could throw away all the books, we could throw away the TVs and all that. Nature. If you think about the nature of how we are as human beings, the nature. At the end of the day, when something bad happens, the woman is going to react, she's going to scream, and she's going to run to a man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why does she do this?
Mm-hmm.
Why do a woman scream and run till the man said, help me? Why does these things happen? Because at the end of the day, she want that man to take control of the situation.
Right. Now you want him to take control. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If your woman get in a wreck, what she's going to do? She's going to call you. Why? Because she's scared, she's in danger, and she needs you to take control of the situation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When your kids act up at school and you bring them home, you call your husband.
Mm-hmm.
You go call him why? Because you want him to take control of the kids. like,
Right.
like we all do these things naturally, regardless of how it's the simplest way of how we do these things. Naturally, we do this stuff, but the problem is we do it when things get bad.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do these things when things are okay and they're not chaotic and
Right.
everything is all good. You know, you wait to go back to the nature of who you are when things get out of hand and go crazy and ballistic and chaotic. Now you want the equalizer.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got to stop that too, because I see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? If you go give me the hard stuff, give me the hard stuff and the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want the fun stuff too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't give me all the hard stuff. Let me get the good fun stuff too.
Exactly right.
Give me all of it. Don't spread it to me and give me your best when things are at its worst. You know, give me your best all the time.
That's right.
But yeah, but that's it, my brother.
All right. Again, another topic for the night that was pretty hot. Is going to be leading to our next topic on next week, our next episode rather.
Yeah.
Again, I'm looking forward to it. I know many of you who kind of know what we're going to be discussing. Again, it's going to be a great topic. Feel free to chime in. We're not here to fuss or anything like that. We're going to conversate with you.
Yeah.
I thank you all for joining. We have Stephanie Gunn. We appreciate you, Shalom, as well. Tosh, peace. Love you, sister. Thank you for joining. Thank you, too, for joining. Love you, Sister Stephanie. Thank you for joining as well.
Yeah.
Who else we got here? Aunt Jackie, thank you for joining. David Kent Elder, thank you for joining. Brother Ray Williams, thank you for joining as well. We try to, do this to bring people in when they come in. We like to be a part of the podcast, what we're doing here. This is just season 1. The brother is coming in with hot topics.
Yeah.
Again, we're looking forward to episode 10.
Yeah.
And,
Talk about polygamy.
Talking about polygamy.
Yeah, we're talking about polygamy.
Talking about polygamy because
yeah, we're gonna have that conversation.
yeah, we're gonna have that conversation. So some of you been waiting on it. I know people close to me have been waiting on it, and I think some people been waiting on it to see what kind of backlash we're gonna get on it. You know?
Hey, it gonna be done because we gonna come with nothing but the facts.
Nothing but the facts. So,
Just believe we come with nothing but the
yeah,
facts.
monogamy versus polygamy. So we're gonna discuss that as well.
Yeah.
And again, we thank you all for joining us tonight. You all have a great one. Love you all much. Peace.
Peace.
All right, thank you.